I like it when we...
So, question from your 4-year-old kind of stopped you in your tracks. He asked you what happens to a dead body after you die?
He asked what happens to your body when you die. Okay. So Friday was the birthday of my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, Ryan, who was in the military, and he died tragically at the age of 29 a couple years ago in a motorcycle accident. So we went out to Dixon National Cemetery to visit him, and we took the two boys, 7-year-old Noah and 4-year-old Levi. So in the car on the way, we were saying, hey, we're going to go visit Ryan. We're going to go see him. And obviously they say, well, what do you mean? We're going to go see his body? And we're like, well, not exactly. We're not going to see his body. We're going to see where he was buried. And so they started asking lots of questions. One was, heaven, where's heaven? What's heaven like? But he also, Levi, 4 years old, preschooler, asked Daddy, what happens to our body when we die if his body's not there? And so we said, well, you get a new body. God gives us a new body. So Ryan is in heaven, and he's got a new body, and there's no sickness. It's strong. Perfect. It's healthy. Right. No issues with his new body. So we're going to the gravesite where his old body is buried. So that's how we answered it. And I love the conversation. It was a great conversation. And I was a little concerned. I think my wife probably was too. We don't want to scare him. He's 4 years old. We don't want to scare him with the conversation of death, because death can be a very scary conversation. Don't you agree?
Oh, well, yeah. I think for kids too, when they start to ask all those questions, then they start thinking about, well, what happens with you, Mom? Like, could that happen to you, Mom or Dad? But so how did he handle your answers? Did that seem to be...
I think he was pretty receptive of it.
Okay, but he
continued on, though, asking more questions. Like, one thing he said, I've never seen Jesus before. Because we were talking about, hey, heaven is where we're going to see Jesus. And he was like, I've never seen, like, it was troubled him that he had never seen Jesus before. I'd never seen him before. And we said most people haven't visually seen Jesus, but we know and we feel him, and we know he's here with us. And so it was just a really, like, one of the most interesting conversations I've had with my kids.
It's thought-provoking when kids ask you that question. And it makes me think, just hearing you tell that story makes me kind of wish I still asked those thought-provoking questions about my relationship with God. Like, I want that kid's desire.
Curiosity.
Yeah, because you think as an adult, you're like, I grew up at church. I was basically raised in a pew, and I mean... And it feels like I've heard every angle of the David and Goliath story and sermons, but I wish I still had the curiosity of a child so I could ask those questions of God to go even deeper and say, well, what really does happen? Because I can't remember the last time I actually contemplated how I get a new body. In heaven. Yeah. And I haven't thought about that. And I want to have that same desire in my relationship with God to ask those questions.
Yeah. And we weren't going to go. We weren't going to take this trip because of gas prices. My wife was like, the time. And so I'm so appreciative that we did, that God created this opportunity to have this cool conversation, because you're right. God loves the childlike spirit, the childlike curiosity. And so, I don't know, it was just a great conversation to have in the car. And you love the curiosity of your kids. You love their innocent spirit, asking just simple questions. Like, sometimes I think maybe we feel guilty for asking those type of questions. Like, well, you should just trust. You should just have faith. You should just don't ask those type of questions.
Like you're admitting that you have doubts.
Right,
or questions.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's okay to have questions. I think that's great. And I think that's how we develop a closer relationship with God, is ask those tough questions and wait for him to answer them. I think that's a great challenge for all of us, to ask those challenging questions. Why did this? Like we have a friend from Texas Roadhouse, and his son found out he's got a tumor in his brain, and it's life-threatening. And I know he's asking those questions. He's asking God, why? Why do we deserve this? Why is this happening? And I think God is okay with those kind of questions. Don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've asked them all the time. And I haven't always gotten an answer. I do think I got one answer from him. I mean, it took years. I'll never forget. I remember asking God, why? because it feels like sometimes your good behavior should get you like an easier life.
Right.
That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
And I remember asking God years ago, God, why did I have to like become a single mom? Why did I have to go through a divorce and raise my kids? Like, I thought I was doing everything right, according to my relationship and the church. And then I remember I was sitting in my old minivan, and it didn't start again. And it was one of those, I knew it was on death's door. And I was in the parking lot of the gym, and it wouldn't start. And I was stuck there, and I don't have family here. And I was like, I have no one to call. And that was the question. I said, God, I sat in the car and I said, why am I in this situation, God? Why are you putting me through this?
Right.
I serve you every single day. And he told me a couple answers. Just because your good behavior doesn't get you a better life, your bad behavior doesn't get you a worse life.
So pause right there.
Yes.
How did that make you feel? For me, that wouldn't make me feel any better.
He didn't finish.
Okay.
And then I got this side, and then I just sat there. It just got this. I know it sounds weird. I heard from God. I just got this knowing and this feeling.
Right.
And then he said, it's because I need you to go through this, because I chose you to tell other people the story and to use your story to help them. And I need you to go through this so you'll understand what other people go through, so you can write about it, and so you could talk about it at your job, and so you can share your experience to comfort others. It's like, okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And then, he provided a friend to come and help me, and it inspired me even more to share what I'm going through, because so often we just keep secret the hard things because we don't want anyone to know that we don't have it all perfect.
Yeah.
Instead, there's a reason why, and to share. I'm going through this. Like your wife, I'm sure that was a really hard day for her.
It was a tough weekend
to
for
lose
her,
her
sure.
brother
Yeah.
at such a young age. But the fact that she shared it, her tough experience with her sons.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll never forget that. And they learned how to go through something like that. And then they learned comfort when they experienced death. They're going to remember how you guys handled it. Like they needed to go through that.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I feel like it was a God orchestrated thing, because she was sitting at the table saying, no, let's just not go. We don't have time. It's just, and she really wanted to go. And so there was something in my spirit saying, no, we're going to go. We're going to go. And God worked that out to where we had this divine conversation that he helped us orchestrate, and I loved it. And I was thinking about what you said about, God, why do we go through these situations that are so heartbreaking and challenging? And I was thinking, for me, lately when I've been facing those challenges, is God tells me often that it's to help you, Matthew, to develop perseverance and strength and to toughen you up. Because that's what I've discovered. I've discovered there are times where I just want to quit, Amanda, where it just seems, you know what, I give up. I can't do this. But then God pushes me and he says, Matthew, you will be rewarded. If you persevere, if you stick through this and don't give up, I will reward you. And that's what I've learned in those situations, those challenging situations that are stressful, that are just overwhelming, where you feel the weight of the world and you just want to give up. But God says, don't give up, keep persevering. You're going to become strong through this, and you're going to be rewarded. You're going to see how sticking through this is going to strengthen you. And I've seen that. It's incredible.
I don't believe that God purposely causes bad things to happen in our lives. Bad things happen because we make bad decisions and other people make bad decisions that affect us.
And we live in a sinful world, right?
But I believe strongly what it says in his word, that I am close to the brokenhearted.
Right.
So what I've discovered when I've gone through really hard times, I remember having a job loss as a single mom and figuring out how to pay a mortgage. I'd never been closer to God. And it brought me closer to him, and a deeper relationship with him, when it wasn't just something that I was supposed to do because I learned how to do it when I was a little girl going to church, but it became so real. It was like, oh, I do rely on you, and you do provide, and I'm still in that house, and we're still doing good, and I'm happier and more fulfilled in my career than ever. So All right. That got a lot deeper than we thought it would. Thank you for watching. We would love to know, maybe people could share their tough questions. Admit, like, these are some tough questions that I have. And we, as the Fish family, could together answer the comments under this video. I think that would be very powerful.
Yeah.
And this is a safe place. So ask your questions and we'll together see what we can do to answer it. We don't have all the answers, but we know the one who does.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We're excited. Tomorrow you're going to unveil something. You won't even tell me this.
No. So
on tomorrow's show,
you have that person in your life and you want to do something nice for them, but you would love to do something that ministers to their love language, but you don't know what their love language is. Well, there's one thing that reaches all 5 love languages. One thing that you can do that reaches all 5 love languages. He won't tell me this. Usually, we'll tell you that tomorrow.
Like, sometimes we'll do a bit on the show and he'll tell me what it is so I can plan my reactions on the show. But no, you want my initial. Right. Okay. Well, I need to know
tomorrow,
this.
7:10, right?
Join us every day on your way to drop off kids at school, on your way to work. We would love for you to listen 6 to 10 a.m. on 103.9 The Fish, at thefishsacramento.com, and just tell Alexa to listen to The Fish Sacramento.
God bless you guys.
Have a great day. We appreciate you so much.